We'll be on the, I'll announce that on the radio.
Oh, nice. When will,
Oh, okay.
when will that
Let's see, the 13th maybe?
I'm gonna bring my radio this time.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Just make sure you work that kid.
He's getting in.
be? Is that on KRPS again?
Uh-huh.
Very cool.
Yep, Sean's gonna set it up so that with each phase.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Donald.
All right, so I guess moving on, I don't know,
I have a little bit.
okay, good. I just feel bad having you say the same thing twice.
No, you're fine. Okay, so I'm just gonna hand this out to the commissioners. This is the call-in number for the LAPC meeting that
Okay.
we usually have it every other month, but here lately, we've been having it every month, so it'll be on May 14th. The public can also call in and listen, but we've got quite a few people on the email list, like 130, I think, now for LAPC.
Nice.
So it's only gonna be by telephone, just conference call. So if you guys wanna call in, it usually just lasts an hour, 8 to 9, and then immediately following, we'll have the Health and Medical Task Force talk for about 30 minutes. We don't have a lot to really go over, but, so anyway, that's next Thursday. And then I am gonna be on the radio again. Sean Nacarado got it set up for me to be on the 13th at 11, and we'll just kind of discuss the phase 2 and the governor's plan, because I think a lot of times people, just like we even have questions, and it's helpful to have Jim here to kind of interpret for us, then I can kind of relay some of that what we're planning on and what we think might happen. So we're gonna do that again, and we thought about probably doing that each phase so that the public can have all the opportunity they need to ask questions. And we don't have any, we have no new cases, so all of our folks are out of isolation, all 8, the 1 death, and we do still have a few in quarantine until next week because of our last case exposures, but that's pretty much it.
All right,
Okay?
thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks, Rebecca.
All right. Looks like we got Scott addressing 911 communications tower at Greenbush.
Good morning, gentlemen. Scott Terrell, Under Sheriff.
Morning.
Concerning the communications shelter at the Greenbush Tower project, I received a call from Hayden Tower. Our building is complete as far as the manufacturing process. However, there was a little bit of a glitch in the exterior finish. It's an aggregate finish, but they use, apparently in the process, they use a retarder that they spray on first, and then through that process, after they're done casting the building, then that retarder allows them to wash the concrete powder or dust off of the surface. Apparently, it failed in our situation. I guess it happens in rare instances, but we happen to be the lucky ones that received that problem. So what that left the building with is kind of a blotchy looking appearance. The options that we have are having the manufacturer, and they're willing to do it, remanufacture, make us another building, which would be 4 to 6 weeks lag time to get that accomplished. The other option is they have a company that manufactures a sealant out of Kansas City area. Basically, they stain it. They stain the building, whereas that coating that they use would have lasted 15 to 20 years. If they coat it with this new sealant, the shelf life would probably 10 years. The material cost to redo it, kind of like refinishing a log cabin. After so
Okay.
many years it dulls out, you have to refinish it. The cost of materials is about $250, and the labor would be about $500.
Are they asking us to pay for that?
No,
No, they're giving
no,
us
that's what I'm getting
options.
to. So this would be, not this color, but this is an example of what it looks like after. they
Of
apply that
refinishing
seal.
it.
Yes. So.
That's the pictures I've got. I didn't see these.
Right.
For, if we take the building as it is, with them applying the sealant, they will take $1,000 off of the cost of the building.
Okay.
They will extend the exterior surface warranty from 1 year to 5 years. With that being anything that happens other than storm damage, they would come back and they would repaint it for us.
What would you like to do, Scott? What's your thoughts?
My thoughts are this. Currently, the project is slated, they have, here's a representation, I went out and took a picture this morning. I mean, the road's done, the concrete pads are done, there is some steel on the ground, the base part of it. The tower is close to completion and being loaded for delivery. The generator's pretty close. We've had so many delays. Have reservations about extending it another 6 weeks. I mean, I think the building with that sealant on it would be fine. My recommendation, along with Sheriff Smith and Lieutenant Mykrid, would be to proceed with letting them do the coating, take the $1,000 off, and extend the warranty for 5 years.
I agree.
Okay. Jeremy, you all right with that?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay.
Motion?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. We don't need that motion for that, do we? To accept the
I
proposal?
think we probably should, because we did approve this.
Okay.
All this was approved in the meeting, so I think we should approve.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make a motion to accept what they're offering us to recoat the building and,
And they said what they would do was, they'll pick a color. I called Barbara this morning to ask him which color, but the gentleman I spoke to, he's colorblind, so he couldn't help me with that.
Nice.
Yes, he said it would be close to what the rock is, so I'm guessing it would be enough color, or maybe even enough. That would be the color.
A motion on the floor, so I'll second that.
All right.
well, thank you. I'm glad to see it's getting close.
Yes, I am too. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Scott, do you want these pictures back? Are you keeping a file or anything? Okay, all right. Thank you.
Guys, I'm gonna go, if you're okay.
You
Yeah,
bet.
of course.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Zach, did you have something? I don't want to,
If you guys have any questions on that. Come on, Zach.
then,
No.
Come on, Zach. I didn't know if everybody, I talked about this Tuesday.
Yeah, I read through that.
Letters, everybody
Yes.
have that?
Yeah.
I've made some extra copies if you need, if you want to see one.
I've read it, so I'm fine.
Anybody else? So what we talked about Tuesday is that Lebec County has sent a letter asking us to join in with some other counties on a valuation case regarding oil and gas. And I wanted to have Zach up here this morning to talk about the impact in Crawford County. And then we can talk separately about whether or not we want to join in
Okay.
on the appeal. So go ahead, Zach.
In Crawford County, we have very few oil leases, oil wells. 56 total. 14 of those are exempt, 17 are no production, so 25 of them could come into effect. And they're all in that minimum production line.
Okay.
But they're real shallow wells, it's real minimum producing. The approximate, if every one of them were affected, which they probably would be, the total valuation's in the ballpark of $7,000. Assessed about 1,700, so you're talking with, using an average mill levy of 150 mills, about $264 that we
Okay.
would lose if this stays and we went to zero on this working interest. Many of those leases are still being valued for equipment, and the royalties are still paying taxes. So it's just a portion of it that would be effective. So the effect on us, I think, would be very minimal. Obviously, I see the concern for counties the further west you get where they have much more oil production. We just don't have it here. We don't have any gas production either, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's gonna happen in the future as far as the natural gas production. That's the natural gas production, I think in the future, I think they'll see more here. Because I know several wells that are there waiting
Yeah,
for
there's
infrastructure.
there's some wells in, yeah, they're just
But
not producing anything.
When was that gonna happen? I don't know.
Yeah,
So, all right, we can discuss it, I guess, and see, but thanks for looking that up.
yeah, no problem.
So we only stand to lose $250
On the high end, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're asking for financial.
We don't know
support.
exactly, right, we're not sure exactly what they're asking for, but
Okay.
yes, financial support.
It
The
will,
amount, I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be a big impact on several counties, but
Okay.
for us, not near as
A
great.
lot of them just took a hit on the devaluation of those wells. I mean, I know I've talked to some appraisers out west, and they're lost a lot of value
Right,
because of the pricing.
the price per barrel, yeah, the PVD and the director, they lowered the initial price that went out for the year. They did send out an amendment to that and lowered it. So we already took a little bit of a fall there, but it still wasn't significant.
Yeah, like I said, sometimes it's a curse or blessing, whether you have that kind of value. It can
Right,
can be nice when it's going, the value's up on it, but it can be, when they go down, it affects you pretty hard.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
good, no problem. Any other questions, just let me know.
You bet, thanks. Okay, so we'll move on to new business. Don?
I might talk just a little bit about, we had our conference call Wednesday with the Secretary of State's office, and I did see they issued a press release. I think I forwarded you guys the Aubur's report. Then there was some mention in there about the Secretary of State's office. They basically got, I think, about $5.5 million in that CARES Act to help pay for election expenses due to the coronavirus pandemic. The Secretary of State's office discussed, we've known about this for several weeks, and we've been talking about some programs they're looking at doing and how it would affect us and what we need and things like that. So they decided to basically, about half of that money, just provide it directly to counties to be able to pay for items that additional expenses they've incurred due to coronavirus. And we got a email actually Wednesday evening after that conference call that kind of showed they based it on, I think, on your number of registered voters. It was on the size of the county. The bigger counties getting more money, smaller counties getting less money. We have, I don't know, about $37,000 available to us to help pay for coronavirus items. It's based on, it's reimbursements for actual expenses you have to submit. Right now, we're in a phase where within 2 weeks, we have to submit documentation of what we think we will spend and what on postage, on additional advanced ballot envelopes, on mailing doing a mailing to all the registered voters in the county with the advanced ballot application? Or is it cleaning supplies or something? There were some things in there that they specifically listed, like deep cleaning your polling places before election day and after election day, which I think would be probably a good thing to try to figure out how to do that and what it would cost. But
Right.
anyway, so we, I plan on trying to, I know we'll spend probably at least that much money, and we'll make application to submit invoices later to get paid back for, that would probably use up that entire $37,000 that's available to us, because it goes pretty quick when you're, buying an additional $3,000 or $4,000 worth of envelopes, and then, different things, postage, another couple $1,000s, and even some of it was for paying additional help to be able to help process more advanced ballots by mail in your office and things like that. So
Okay.
I just wanted to let you know we've got some help available, and we will have to pay for that stuff first and then submit for reimbursement, but we'll know pretty much already if those items have been approved for us to get paid back for. But just wanted to kind of let you know that part of it, I saw a little blurb about it. The Secretary of State issued a statement about it that is in that Palmer's report that I forwarded to you guys today. And so that's, gonna trickle down. We know we're gonna get help. And then there's some other things they're doing that'll help us directly as well, but that's what they're doing with their half of the money that they're keeping at their office to be able to do things statewide with. So
Okay.
just wanted to let you know that. And that's all really I had for new business, so.
Well, thanks for the update on that. Yes, Jim? Tom?
No, sir.
Sherman?
I did have one thing. So yesterday, the Regional Planning Commission had a conference call, and Matt Godinez, the director there, gave us an update on some of the community development block grant money that will be available to counties and municipalities. He said he thought it would be next week that they would have application criteria available, but the state got like $9 million that they will then make available to counties up to, and there are a couple of different uses for it, but counties can't, so they'll pass the money along to counties, who will then be responsible for dispersing it. So counties and municipalities can request up to $200,000 for micro business grants and regular business grants. So that can be used to give out to employers for, so the micro businesses are for businesses with 1 to 5 employees, and assistance can be up to $25,000 per job retained. And then the regular business grants are businesses with 6 to 50 employees, and that's up to $35,000 per job retained.
Really?
There is a stipulation, though, that at least 51% of the jobs retained must be low to moderate income, which I don't know, it doesn't have the definitions on here on the preliminary stuff that they gave us. So we can apply for that, and then also the second part is personal protective equipment and meal programs, which you can request up to $300,000 for, which is for protective equipment for nonprofits, clinics, and hospitals. for protective equipment not covered by other sources, such as insurance, other government funding sources. And then the meal programs is assistance for social services like Meals on Wheels, children's lunch programs, food banks, etc. And it'll be on a first come, first served basis. So basically the people that get their applications in the most quickly will.
And they're low interest loans, is that it, or?
It's grants. It is not a loan. It would be direct money into businesses, basically, that they would not have to repay then. So I would like to work with the existing economic development folks like Sean Nacarado, the Chambers of Commerce, locally, and see, I don't know, if the municipalities are wanting to do this and what we can do to, because both municipalities and counties in the same region can apply for this. So like Pittsburgh could apply for money and Crawford County could apply for money, so we could hit like kind of all of our bases.
Okay.
Great.
So I'm interested in having a conversation about like how we want to go about doing that, and then have something ready for next week so we can get
Okay.
applied for that. Because I know local businesses would be super interested, I think, in
Oh, absolutely.
having access to that money. So
Okay.
Yeah, just keep us abreast.
yeah, will do. That is all I had for new business.
All right. Is this something we want to talk about today? No? Just FYI? Okay. Just checking, make sure you wasn't forgetting something.
Stick my business.
All right. No, that's, what I have is old, so we'll talk about that in a second. I guess old business. Dawn?
I just did want to share that we sent out all of the requests for budget,
Okay.
for proposals for next year from all the different departments in the county, and got those sent out yesterday. And I asked for them to return those by June 12th. And I think that's about June the 15th is when we have to have values, property values ready for ourselves as well as the other taxing entities in the county. And, should have started having our first draft of budgets. I also kind of let all those people know that, you want to, revenues are gonna be hard to estimate for next year, but will probably be estimated lower than they were for this year as far as like sales taxes, things
Right.
like that. So, you might want to be careful as there might not be a lot of money for increasing expenses, things like that. Just to kind of let them know that they need to probably be watching their requests, thinking about that. But then, to also document reasons, what is in your budget is, are you, if you got equipment purchases you're trying to take care of, or additional personnel or things like that, that's part of that budget proposal that, is good to know about. But then we'd also, probably the last part of May, start trying to schedule them to come in and sit down with you guys. Each department have, 20 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever to kind of go through their proposal
Okay.
anyway. So, just wanted to let you know that was underway, and we'll be diving into that budget process here pretty soon.
quick.
So,
All right, thank you.
you're welcome.
Jim?
Yes.
I've had a request for a work session at 9 o'clock Tuesday from Devin Gorman with the CVB. And then I believe he will also have some items that he'll need to take care of in the meeting. So if we can have that for 9 o'clock Tuesday, if that works for everybody.
12th?
Yes.
Okay. Works for me.
I have been doing some research on some things I saw in the news and an article in the Joplin Globe on revenues that Missouri counties were getting, pretty substantial revenues out of the CARES Act to the tune of several $1 million over across the line. And I've spoke with Pam Henderson, who works with Jerry Moran, and then Bill Brady, and Bill was on top of it. He said that Missouri, I think their allocation was a lot higher than ours, but Kansas has 1.25 billion available. It sounds like, reading some things that are coming up for their return, the legislature's return, that may be part of their discussions coming up in Topeka on what to do with that money, whether it will be handled differently than what Missouri has done. So we'll have to stay tuned and see what happens with that money. I assume some of it will flow down, may not be direct payment like Missouri, but could be in new grants and things like that. So we'll just keep an eye on that. I received this morning paperwork for closeout on Sewer District 3. I was not going to run that today since it's a pretty nice packet, but I will send that out to everybody to look at for Tuesday, to run that in Tuesday's meeting. And the only other thing I had is, for those maybe who weren't watching at 9, the courthouse will still be open. The hours will still be 8 to 3:30.
Okay.
We're still checking temperatures and at the front desk before you come in. Asked to wear a mask, to stay 6 feet apart. We've got all that set up out there to make it easy. For people that are doing tags and renewals, you may want to call ahead. I know we've had people in and out 3 or 4 times just to get everything they need. Call ahead. They'll let you know what you need to bring so that you can come in one time and get your work done. And finally, I was asked about an update on the landfill contract, and we got an email back from Pete. And he said he sent the first draft in 3 weeks ago to their attorneys, and he has not heard anything. So they may be discussing a response.
How long do we give them before we?
I will email Pete and see if he can follow up. I did receive that today, and yeah, it'd be nice to know what's happening with that.
So I
So,
can see why they want to direct their feet.
exactly. Yeah,
So-
exactly. So,
Let's turn up the heat.
okay. And that's all I had.
All right. Thank you. Tom?
No, sir.
Jeremy?
So Britton Renner at the city had gotten me a more finished version of the census mailer. I just sent it to the public email.
Oh,
Don't know if
okay.
we want to pull it up and take a look at that. It had the Crawford County logo, the census website, and then
I won't be able to bring that up. You send that to me and
no, I sent it to.
I know if you send it to me.
Oh.
I've got the screen hooked up to my.
Oh, because it's on the other one, right,
Laptop.
yep, yes, I can do that. There it is.
That one side of it.
Yeah, that's the front portion, and then the back side that has the info, the picture of the courthouse, the public email address if they have questions. And then I believe the phone number was for Britton, because she's been working on it a lot and has a lot of information, so was directing questions her way, I think.
Okay.
Okay. I have a draft RFP ready, but I
Oh,
did want
awesome.
to get with her first to just see specs on the postcards. So I'll get with her and make sure I have all that ironed out, and then
Okay,
I'll be ready to have something Tuesday. I think to look at, get that sent out.
perfect.
All right.
Okay, yep, and that's all I had.
Mr. Chairman, I would like something.
Yeah.
I'd like a executive session under attorney-client privilege, 3 commissioners council for 10 minutes.
Okay. 10 minutes? Okay. The only thing I talked to Randy Shatana this morning about asphalt a little bit, and he indicated that company that was gonna do the PUG material last year for us, but since it rained every other day, it never happened, could possibly be available at the end of the month, and look at doing some projects with that first, if the weather cooperates. So that, I guess we're kind of first on the list for that guy if we're interested in doing that.
Nice.
So I don't know if we want to if we need to bring Randy in, kind of discuss what areas he recommends to do,
Or we could do that
get a plan.
Mhm.
So
Tuesday or Friday.
it doesn't matter either way to me. It's on rain next week, so we have a work session at 9 Tuesday. If we want to do one earlier, we could, or if we just
It's, who we have to, forgot already.
Devin.
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 Yeah.
I don't know if that would take an hire for Devin, do you think?
I wouldn't think so. I think we could knock it out in 30 minutes.
Okay.
Let's try to have Randy here for work session.
9:30.
9:30, and if Devin runs over, so be it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. At least get a plan. So that's all I had for old business as of right now.
Well, Mr. Chairman, then, if you have no further old business, I'll move we go into executive session. 3 commissioners council for 10 minutes under attorney-client privilege
And that's regarding,
regarding a quote and possible contract.
second.
All right.
Jim, we have a 9 AM with Rebecca too, right on Friday?
Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday, okay, I was gonna try to write those up on there.
Okay, yeah.
So did you hear now the Mulberry homecoming is canceled?
Yeah, or it was canceled.
Yeah, Friday, yeah, 2, so, there's 2 down.
I just don't foresee a lot of that stuff.
I don't either.
We don't have to do it.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, it's tough. Those things are tough this year, you just don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, you're, like I said, you're at the mercy of the governor's phases on those, and hopefully those numbers don't keep coming up, because I really don't wanna see her extend, like, this first phase.
Yeah.
Go another week, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know that I'll be going a lot of places, but the other thing is, you don't wanna see us get an outbreak going.
No, absolutely not.
I think we're better off
You'd
with,
hate to have only 8 right now, and then all of a sudden you get 16 cluster or something like that. So hopefully we don't see anything like that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my biggest concern over the jail is getting in the facility, so. I don't know, we'll see what happens. I said you just gotta roll with the punches as.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. So, all right, see you later.
Okay.
Thanks, John.
Hey, you're welcome. Let's see. So. So. May. The
Just looking at future business.
I think I've got those work sessions added
Okay, good, yeah.
appropriately.
Yep. May 12th, 2020, 9 a.m. work session with Convention and Visitors Bureau Director Devin Gorman regarding operations of CVB. Also, May 12th at 9:30 a.m. work session with County Asphalt Foreman Randy Shitano regarding paving work. May 15th, 9 a.m. work session with County Health Officer Rebecca Adamson to discuss new guidelines regarding COVID-19. Then under announcements, courthouse will be open to the public beginning Monday, May 4th, 2020, and will be open from 8 to 3:30. Anyone entering the building will be screened and required to maintain a 6-foot distancing guideline. The motor vehicle office at the Judicial Center in Pittsburgh will remain closed. Is there any changes on that, Jim, for now? Okay.
And have we heard what the courthouse is doing, the district courthouse?
I think there've been some preliminary discussions.
But there's no, they haven't made a final decision
Okay,
yet.
so
I saw the Supreme Court had issued some guidelines.
Supreme Court had issued some guidelines, and I think internally there's some discussions in the 11th Judicial District. There's nothing yet that
Okay.
that they'll
They had talked
announce.
about coming today to
Yeah.
discuss it, but I don't think they were quite ready. So
Okay.
I'll bet we'll hear from them next week.
Good. Also, there's the drive-through VIN inspection center at the Sheriff's Department is still operating from 8 to 3, Monday through Friday. Any other business?
Mr. Chairman, if there's no further business, I'll move we adjourn.
Second.
Aye.